coming to you guys with another read aloud, and we are still doing little mini biographies about exceptional people for Black History Month. So today I've got people who were great singers, who were known for their music, and maybe after you read this, you'll listen to a little bit of their songs. So again, I'm trying to find people that would have been alive around the same time, give or take. So we're going to start with our Little Leaders, Bold Women, and we are going to read about, and I hope I'm saying these names correctly today, Mahalia Jackson, born 1911, passed away in 1972, and she was a gospel singer. There's the picture, by the way. All right, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, Mahalia was always surrounded by the sounds of blues and Mardi Gras. As a child, she sang jazz songs by Bessie Smith in her room at night. But little Hallie, as she was called, came from a religious family, and the only music that was acceptable to them was gospel music. She made her singing debut in the choir at the Mount Moriah Baptist Church and blew everyone away with her enormous voice. Later in life, she felt the urge to sing non-religious music, but she had made a promise to herself and her family to sing only gospel, and she stuck to it her whole life. She turned down big nightclub shows and lived on very little money. But in 1946, she recorded a single, Move On Up a Little Higher, and that sold over 2 million copies. She gained a following around the United States, and she traveled for performances. Her shows drew large crowds from both Black and white communities. Segregation, however, was still the law of the land, and Mahalia struggled with it during and after her performances. When she was on the road, Mahalia kept food in her car just so that she wouldn't be relegated to the colored section of a restaurant. At the request of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mahalia participated in the Montgomery bus boycott in 1963, and she performed at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, where Reverend King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech. She was actually on the podium behind him, and when he started to go off script, she encouraged him. Tell him, Martin, she shouted, tell him about the dream. That most famous part of the speech wasn't planned, but Mahalia knew how powerful his words were and how important it would be to share them. I love that. I never knew that. I have, of course, heard that speech many, many times, but I didn't know that. So this was really interesting to me. I also looked up a recording of her singing Move On Up a Little Higher, and I really like it. So I encourage you to listen as well. We're going to switch gears, and now we're going to hear about another singer and an actor. So this is Little Legends, Exceptional Men, 1898 to 1976. So both of these people were alive at the same time. And again, this is a last name that I'm hoping I'm pronouncing correctly. Please forgive me if I've got it wrong. I don't want to be doing that. So this is Paul Robeson, 1898 to 1976. He was a singer, an actor, and an activist. Paul was very good at a lot of things. In school, he engaged in debate and public speaking. He sang and acted in plays and played nearly every sport. Despite his talents, he endured constant racism, living in pre-civil rights New Jersey. His father, a Presbyterian minister who was born enslaved, instilled in Paul a drive to succeed despite the prejudices of the world around him. Paul was accepted into Rutgers University on an academic scholarship. He was also a fantastic athlete and achieved celebrity as an All-American football star. While Paul could have pursued football as his main career, he set his sights on law school. In 1923, Paul graduated from Columbia Law School. He secured a job at a white law firm, but was received with racial hostility from clients and colleagues, so he soon left. He had performed in plays all through school, so he turned to acting full time, eventually starring in Shakespeare's Othello. When Broadway writers and producers were creating a multiracial musical called Showboat, they wrote a part for Paul. Unfortunately, he was unable to take part in that production, but he played the role in London in 1928 and in the 1932 Broadway revival and in the 1936 movie. His rendition of the song Old Man River is legendary. Paul's acting and singing took him all over the world, and he saw how different race relations were in Europe and the Soviet Union. Paul developed strong leftist beliefs, aligning him with the Communist Party. He campaigned for workers' rights and organized for labor and peace. He became a leading activist and helped mentor others, including Claudia Jones and Harry Belafonte. Communism was labeled un-American, however, and in 1950 the State Department barred him from leaving the country in an attempt to silence him. Paul was blacklisted from the entertainment industry and his career was ruined. All-American football star, academic, lawyer, actor, singer, civil rights activist, Paul did it all, and even when he wasn't celebrated for his efforts, Paul continued to advocate for equality and peace. Growing up, I used to watch musicals, and I remember watching Showboat. That was a favorite. So this brought back memories of that, and I also looked up... Oh, there's the bell. I also looked up some clips of him singing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot and Old Man River, and I looked up clips from Showboat, and it was really fantastic. So if you have the time, you might want to do that as well.